Boy, oh boy, the NBA offseason is here and New York Knicks rumors are heating up. We're going to talk about Kyrie Irving because that's what every Knicks fan is doing today. But I want to start it off with a question. Do you actually want Kyrie on the Knicks, whether it's a sign and trade? Do you want to see him rocking the white, blue, and orange? Let me know. Type Y for yes, or you can go down and type N for no. What's going on, Knicks fans? You are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we're going to talk about the latest Kyrie Irving rumors as Charania dropped a bombshell this morning and said that the conversation on Kyrie's future, they have gone stagnant between him and the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie, he has that player option this year for $30+ million. All signs lead to that he's going to decline that option and wants to test free agency. He really wants to sign that 5-year, $230, $40, $50 million contract extension with the Brooklyn Nets. But Shams says there's an impasse that currently exists between the two sides, which means he could test NBA free agency. And of course, anytime a big trade rumor comes out, you know the New York Knicks are going to be linked, and they were by Shams. He said the Knicks, the Lakers, and the Clippers are all listed as potential suitors if Kyrie Irving makes it to NBA free agency without a new deal. And all this comes from that Kyrie Irving wants that maximum contract from the Brooklyn Nets. They can offer him a 5-year, $250 million contract extension where the rest of the league, they just cannot compete. And this is what that deal would look like. And I'm not mad at the guy. I would want to be making $58 million in 2026 when I was 35 years old as well. He would make 42. It doesn't even sound right saying numbers like this. Almost $43 million next year, then 46, 49, 53, and 58. Go and get the bag, Kyrie. No doubt about this. This is what happens when organizations and players are in a public negotiation on a contract. One side leaks it out that they're unhappy. I bet it was Kyrie Irving in this case. And now here we are. And of course, the New York Knicks were linked as well because that's what happens. The Knicks, they could offer Kyrie 4 years and $190 million in NBA free agency. He has that $10 million plus deal in the NBA where he's played 10 plus years. He's made the All-NBA. He's won an NBA Finals. So he can make that max super contract and get that extra year from his team, from the Nets that have his bird rights. But if he enters free agency, the Knicks, they could only offer him $190 million. Look, we're going to continue to break down this Kyrie Irving trade rumors. I'll give you a trade idea, and then I'll give you my take. We'll look at some stats, and Shams also has some quotes that we got to get to. But first, make sure you go down right now and hit that big red button, because here at New York's Now, Knicks Now by Chat Sports, we are ramping up our coverage. We are putting out videos every single day with the NBA draft this Thursday and NBA free agency starting just next week. So lock us in, hit that big red button. Hey, help us get to 8,000 subscribers. I promise you, you won't regret it. Lock in 7,000, excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. Go down, hit that big red button. Let's break down, though, the actual quotes that Shams had to say about Kyrie Irving, because I thought they were really telling. And he said this. He said, "It appears both sides have serious work to do in order to find a resolution that brings Irving back to Brooklyn and his co-star in Durant, who is under contract with the Nets through 2025 and 2026. He said several teams across the league have kept tabs on the situation, wondering about the future of Irving and Brooklyn. He said the Lakers, Knicks, and Clippers are expected to be among the interested suitors if Irving heads elsewhere, multiple sources tell The Athletic. And that makes sense. The Knicks, they need a point guard, and Irving would probably be the best one on the market. But I just can't get down with Kyrie Irving going to the New York Knicks. Do we even really believe these reports? Are they coming out from the Nets? I don't think so. I think they're coming from Irving. But let's go back to the playoffs. When the Nets lost in the NBA playoffs, what did Kyrie tell the media? I don't really plan on going anywhere. He said that him and Kevin Durant have a job to help run this franchise. He made it seem like he was a pillar and a building block for this team, and he said the same with the Boston Celtics before he joined the Brooklyn Nets. He said, if you guys would have me back, I would be willing to re-sign. And then he went and signed and joined up with Kevin Durant. At the end of the day, you can't trust Kyrie. He's a flake. He did it to LeBron. Then he did it to the Boston Celtics, and now he's about to do it to Kevin Durant, someone that left Steph Curry, and a dynasty that's going down right now in Golden State. We can all agree, Kyrie Irving is one of the best basketball players in the league when he's on the hardwood. That's why he averages points like 27, 26, 27. That's why he was arguably the Finals MVP and hit the biggest shot in NBA basketball history in Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors. What he can do on the court is not replicated by anyone else in the league. We know that. He can finish with the left, the right, the English off the backboard. What he's able to do with the basketball, the best handles we've ever seen. But at the end of the day, the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been that. Played in just 29 games last year, 54 the year before that, 20 before that, and 67 before that. Kyrie Irving is great. We know that. But is he dependable? Is he a player that the Knicks should sacrifice the future and the long-term health of this roster and salary cap situation going forward? This is what Shams had to say on what the Knicks would have to do or how it would play out if he ended up with the Knicks. He said, for the Knicks, the likely path to acquiring Irving depends on what the Nets prioritize. New York is even with the salary cap line for this offseason, so it could clear enough cap space to sign Irving on a maximum contract by offloading salaries such as Evan Fournier, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, and Kemba Walker. But the Knicks could also offer some or all of those players to the Nets or a third team in a possible sign and trade. What I take from that is this. Yes, the Knicks sent a sign and trade if Kyrie went to the Nets and said, hey, look, I want to go play for the Knicks. I want to sign a contract with them. Could you guys work out a sign and trade? The Nets are still going to want back the number 11 pick in this draft. They're going to still want young players. They're not just going to settle for Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, and salary cap dumps to get Kyrie Irving, not only to leave the Brooklyn Nets, but to go to New York and play for the Knicks, your crosstown rival, the team that you're competing with for customers and fans. They're not going to help facilitate that trade and get back scraps. That's not going to work out. In the second, I'll show you a trade idea that I saw on Kyrie Irving last week, and we talked about it on the show. But with these new reports out there, maybe people are feeling a little bit different about Kyrie. We'll break that down in a second. But I want to remind you to you guys to join us at Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Our main Chat Sports channel is going live for the NBA draft this Thursday, a couple hours beforehand. And look, we like to party. We like to have fun. It's going to be way more entertaining than the NBA draft coverage hosted by Shams and Woj over on ESPN. I promise you, you're not going to want to miss it. My guy Chase Sr. and Harrison Graham, they're going to break down every single pick. They're going to be taking shots. And maybe I'll get on there and talk about the New York Knicks. But join us live this Thursday, June 23rd for the NBA draft, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. This is that trade idea that I was telling you guys about. It's from NBA Analysis, and they have the Knicks receiving Kyrie Irving. But the Knicks, they would be having to give up a whole lot. Emmanuel Quickley, Nerlens Noel, Obi Toppin, Derrick Rose, and that number 11 pick in the 2022 NBA draft. My first thought process is Quickley, Toppin, and the number 11 pick, that's a lot to give up. But I'll give you my full take in a second. But I want to let you Knicks fans be loud, be proud in the comment section. Tell me how you feel about this. Be honest. Don't hold back. Would you make this trade if you were Leon Rose? Do you want Kyrie Irving in exchange for Quickley, Noel, Toppin, Rose, and the Knicks first-round pick this year? Type T for trade, or you can go down and type P for pass. I wouldn't make this trade. I'm typing P for pass. I'm passing on flaky Irving. At the end of the day, not only are you having to take on a player that's going to be wanting to pay $200 million over the next 4 years, you're also taking a huge risk in a player that has injury problems. He's already 30 years old, and are his best basketball days behind him. And then on top of that, you're asking me to trade Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, and the number 11 pick this year. That's 2 draft picks that the Knicks have hit on, and another draft pick that you have in the chamber to build for the future. I like Kyrie Irving as a player. I don't really like him as a teammate, as a part of my favorite team, and a part of my culture. Is he going to have a good effect on a guy like R.J. Barrett that's just 22 years old? And on top of that, he's only played in 160 basketball games in the last 5 years. There's been 390 games in that time frame, and he's played in just 160 of the games. We know Kyrie's great. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, arguably one of the best and most skilled basketball players to ever play in the NBA. But the quick fix never works. And as Knicks fans, we should know that. We've tried that. We've done that. And we've looked stupid. We've looked back on the past and said, why have we done that? So let's not go down that train or that road again. And I don't think Leon Rose will do that to the New York Knicks. Maybe he goes out and makes a big trade for someone else, but I don't think he's ready to tie his legacy as the general manager of the New York Knicks to a guy like Kyrie Irving. But I want to ask this question to round out today's show. Who do you think will actually be the point guard of the New York Knicks to start next season? Will it be Emmanuel Quickley? Will it be Kyrie Irving? Well, heck, will it be Kemba Walker? Will it be Colin Sexton? Will it be Jalen Brunson? Will it be Jaden Ivey? There are a bunch of guys that could take that spot next year. I want you to predict it right now in the comment section. I appreciate everybody that's made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. If you haven't yet, show me some love over on Twitter. As NBA free agency heats up and the NBA draft this week, I'm going to be tweeting more and more about the New York Knicks. So give me a follow over on Twitter @MarshallGreen_.